Okay, guys, welcome to TBS. Today, we're going to talk about something different. Something I've never done before, but something I think about a lot. And before we go into it, I want you guys to know that it might get graphic because it's about a crime. I don't know if you guys are true crime fans. You probably are, as most ladies are at this point in time. We like to know if we can solve things. But all joking aside, and in all seriousness, there's a part that psychics and tarot readers and mediums play when it comes to crime scenes. Something other people can't see, sometimes we could see. And especially finding bodies. That's something so sad that a lot of times the parents and family, they don't get to find the body because the criminal does not give up the location. And today, I want us to talk about and find out where the body of Kiplyn Davis is. She was a little girl that disappeared in 1995, and there are 3 men involved, and all of them we're going to talk about today. I want us to find out how she died, because they never told all the way, and I want to find out where she is. I know a little bit about the case just from watching one video. That's it. I don't want to know any more because I'm already having a slight bend where to go, but I want to make sure that it's correct just with the cards. Baby, I have my new cat in here with me. My special familiar baby. She's so cute. I don't know if she'll come up on the table or not, but if so, you can see her. She's just a regular tabby. She has bobcat ears and she's really small. Okay, so we're going to talk about Chris first and Tim. Now, Rucker is also involved. These men were boys when this happened. Were boys when she was abducted. The depravity is unknown. But we're going to find out today how bad it really was. If this is going to scare you, just wait and watch it later or go to something else. I don't want anyone to be scared. Because it's really serious when you are going to talk about what happened to a poor small person. Alright. This is Chris. This is Tim. This is Rucker. And this is Kiplyn, where she is. So, let's see here. Tim has the world. Or was this Chris or Tim? Forget what I said. Hold on. Okay. Chris is the world, the devil, and the Two of Wands. So he is the one that thought up what was going to happen. That these three boys were going to attack this girl. They did not value her. They thought of her as a nerd, someone they had contempt for. They liked teasing her, and they liked being part of her life because it gave them a sense of power over women. They felt like she was an easy target. And Chris had wanted to have sex with her for a while. Not in a way that most people would want to have sex with someone, but in a way where he could dominate the situation, because he wanted to punish her, her family, and society around him. He was in a very bad spot in his mind and his emotional well-being. He wanted to be worldly. He wanted to have fame in a certain way. He wanted to be the most popular of his group, of these three boys. And he usually was the leader. So he was attractive, and he knew that this little girl, Kiplyn, really liked him. So he thought about, why don't we three sexually attack her and, show her who's boss, that she has no power when it comes to us. That he liked this idea. So he brought this up to Tim. He was the Eight of Cups, the Fool, and the Ten of Swords. So he's the only one that felt sorry out of these three for what he had done. He participated in the sexual assault just like the others, but the violence factor wasn't there for him. He wanted to do it because the other two boys were doing it. And he had ideas of wanting darkness, but he didn't, when it came to it and he had it, he didn't want it that much anymore. But it kept coming back to him over and over again in his life. And eventually he broke down. Now, this is Rucker. He is Temperance, Page of Cups, Five of Cups. So, when he got older, he regretted being friends with them. Because he was older than them to begin with, he thought that he was better than them anyway. But he liked the idea that they had put down, that they could attack a little girl and get away with it. Just to have the feeling, just because the hormones were raging. He was more of a regular, not vanilla, of course, but he probably would have been in the BDSM community and been a dom, and if he had got that, and if he would have been okay with that, and he wouldn't have gone towards this. But because this was so early on in their development and they started doing this, it kind of messed them up the rest of the time. So what I want to do now is look at Kiplyn. She is the little baby childlike empress. The Ten of Rods. And the Hermit. Poor baby. So when she was attacked, she was the Empress. She was brought down by these guys attacking her, giving her blows to make her die, because what happened was they didn't really think it through as teenagers. They didn't realize that she would be a witness after the fact, and they had to hurry up and kill her in their mind because they were like, oh, she's going to tell. It got pretty gruesome, and there was lots of fluids around, and there was lots of, kitty, there was lots of fear, that they would get caught, but they were also highly exalted. And so they didn't really care what happened to them exactly. It was more like a feeling of euphoria and excitement. After the attack happened, she became a hermit because she is alone in the valley, desertish type area. It's Utah, so what's been going on is the reason why they haven't found her. Number one, the parents of these kids don't want to think about that this is real. Number two, Kiplyn's family, they go along with what's going on in the police because they trust them, and the police do all that they know how to find her, but it's Utah. So I don't know how to say this. When you go to Utah, the spirituality is oppressive. I do not agree with the Mormon religion in any way, shape, or form. And I know that's a bold statement, but something based on fear that much and power that much is in charge somehow of this whole state. And whenever people enter into that, or when they're born into that, they don't see reality like the rest of the world. They see the Mormon reality. And when these boys went to do something, they had a skewed view of the reaction it would have and that they would get away with it, because they knew as men, and they knew how the police thought, the way to get to her would be convoluted and they wouldn't find her. It wasn't that they were so smart and her body is so well hidden. It's that they lucked out, and they also used their knowledge of the local police force, like what they had. Did they have dogs? Did they have helicopters? Did they have how many people looking on the ground, etc.? They knew, since they had been in trouble a lot, they knew a lot of what to expect. So what I'm seeing here is that there was a rock fissure, like a boulder and some trees, and there was like a little clearing area where they attacked her, and Rucker found a hole. It was like a sinkhole type thing, and it went down into an underground cavern. And it was pretty small, but she was small. And they took her and stuffed her body into it. And she actually fell down into a cavern area, so that she's actually pretty preserved in there. It's cold in there. And there isn't, it's different. It's a different thing. So when they took all the dust, all the sand that had her blood in it, and they put it down the hole also. They took their bloody clothes, and they put some of them down there, like the outer garments, and then just their pants or shorts and a t-shirt or wife beater thing. They went home then, like that. Like I said, this isn't a mastermind crime. These people are they're just lucky, because this is what happens in Utah. I don't know how to explain it, but if you've been there and you're spiritual, you'll understand. Things slide through the cracks there that wouldn't in other places. It's like people's memories and thoughts and vision is sealed. So little Kiplyn isn't too far off of a regular trail that the boys would go on all the time. It's a 4-wheeler trail now. It was then, but now it's more. There's dirt bikes and stuff. So if you're going up a hill and then it curves to the left, if you keep going straight-ish, right-ish, you'll go to the clearing. And other people know where that is. Nature people know where that is. And to the right of the clearing, there's the fissure. I don't think it's totally closed off right now. I think actually if people could see down, they wouldn't see anything, but they could still see the fissure. So I'm calling somehow somebody there to please help her and give her back to her parents, because she's a small little baby and she's just stuck in there. And her spirit's not. She's happy. It's just that her parents are sad. And these boys are idiots. And they're all going to stay in jail. If any of them gets out, I know this is horrible, but I hope they get punished for what they've done, because they haven't been punished yet, actually. Prison isn't exactly the same as being punished for what they did in this instance. I don't know how to explain that either, but it just is in my mind. So, strength. There is someone out there, a police person, a ranger, or a nature person or group, maybe ornithologist, and there's some little boys that are good boys. They know where this is. They know where the fissure is. And if somehow they can get a drill and go down in there, they'll get her, they'll find her. Her remains, in other words. I know it's kind of a gory thing to talk about, but it's important to find bodies. When they find her body, even so much time later, they'll be able to tell exactly what these boys did to her. Because it was, I won't say what it is. I asked, when I was younger, and I started to do this kind of stuff, and started to seeing things of what's going to happen and everything, I didn't want to see the bad stuff. I didn't want to see ghosts. And I asked God or whoever to help, and that I don't want to see it, I just want to know. So, like, if it isn't pertinent to finding the answer, I don't want to know what it is. So I don't know, and I don't want to know, and I don't see all the things they did to the poor baby. But I do. She's a teenager, but I call her a baby, because she was like a fragile, small, very innocent, naive person. And there was nothing wrong with her, per se, that caused her to be the victim. It was just that she was one of many that fit the bill. And they had already known her. So she had wanted to experiment with sexual stuff because she really liked Chris. He was very charismatic and demon-like in a certain way. So she being so good, she just naturally was like the opposite. She wanted it. She wanted to know more about him. And she put a reaction in him too. So Chris is the one who will talk more than Rucker Tim is the one who'll talk more than Chris and Rucker, but he's weak person in a certain way emotionally. Once the body's found, he'll tell everything. And Rucker will be resigned to his fate if they charge him more. And if they charge Chris more, he'll probably kill himself or become a really scary person in prison and become violent there. So Kiplyn was innocent and she was lost. Her body's lost, but it'll be found. If a group can go up there and do what I had suggested, then she'll be able to be free and put with her family. She's really small, so they're gonna have to actually go down there. They can't just look down with a flashlight. She's covered with dust, and they'll find their clothes down there too. So I hope this helps Kiplyn's family, the Davises, and I hope that somehow this gets to them, or someone else tells them this, so they'll be able to get her out of the cave. If you know anything or can help in any way, obviously you could tell her family. But don't bother them with anything you don't really know, because that's, I'm not going to show them this. If it finds the way to them, or if they seek me out, then that's cool. It's just that this kind of thing isn't for everyone at every time. And even if it's right, sometimes people don't want to hear it, or they can't. And that's fine. I'm just putting it out there so that I'm doing my job. And it feels good to do so. I hope all of you have a good day, and I'll see you next time.